we got to play the brand new expansion for Betrayal at House on the Hill.
It only came out earlier this weekend.
Yes,
if you're watching
awaited. Yeah, yes, very, very recent. And, Betrayal at House on the Hill, we've talked about on this show. We've played it many, many times.
Probably one of our top games.
And this is an expansion. People have wanted expansion, including us, for a long time from this game. They finally put it out. It has I think 50 new scenarios.
Yeah, it's definitely 50 new scenarios. I know that.
Bunch
of new cards and tiles.
Tokens.
Whole new floor, which I really like.
Right, adds a whole new level to the house.
Which, one of the things I love about this floor is it's not like the basement, which is like, well, we'll see if we can find a way there. They made it much easier to move between floors, which I know is a big thing for us, because there's how many times is that you either get ruined because it's like, well, I'm stuck in the basement.
Right, they added this dumbwaiter thing, which lets you move up and down from tiles that may not even have stairs in them or whatever, which is a nice touch. We won't give spoilers, but maybe very, very light spoilers. We'll just say we did haunt number 62.
Spoiler flashing.
Which was somewhat Shakespearean themed, well, incredibly Shakespearean themed, based on Hamlet. So if you don't want to know anything, then don't watch this. But we won't give away like the crux of it. But the general theme was I was actually the traitor. I basically thought I was Hamlet.
The funny thing is, I'm gonna be honest, in terms of our roles, it sounded more like we were all the traitors and you were the not. Like, think about it, because we're the one who killed your father. Like,
well, I think you guys killed, but or did we all go crazy and think we all?
It said in mine that.
Okay, so we were all crazy.
But the funny thing is, in the description for Hamlet, it didn't read how it was like Hamlet is trying to get revenge or something. It said like Hamlet's being a whiny little prince, and you're just so sick of his little bit of whining. And
yeah, it was very humorously written. The theme was great. I mean, when I read the haunt, I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic.
It would have been. It's a great haunt, but it had literally the worst that could happen in this haunt for me happened, because what we had to do is we had to say some lines, which we did not do so well in terms of like saying them. That's not important to the
the actual delivery.
In certain rooms. We were all in the rooms in the right order for like before it was your turn, we were like 80% done with beating you.
It kind of, it's been a while since we played Betrayal, maybe even since like last Halloween or earlier this year. But this scenario did unfortunately kind of remind me of what can be the worst parts of the game, which is when it's just so unbalanced that it felt like after the hunt started, we might as well stop playing.
I will say this, compared to all the times I've played that I can think of, I've never felt this unbalanced before for this one.
I definitely, maybe not quite this bad, but... Well,
I mean, I've had sometimes when it's obvious.
It's definitely happened.
I mean, yes, it happens, but I'm just saying like this was, I would consider the worst. And I feel like it'd be very hard to beat this. Like I said, we were perfectly lined up. It was just like everything that could go right could. I don't know how the game could be
wrong from my perspective.
Yes, or wrong. I don't know how we could tilt it worse or better in this game.
It was really. It took me a round to realize I'm just screwed.
But I'm excited with the style of this story, because I'm hoping the other ones show that kind of flavor that's fun, this interesting, different. I do hope, and I'd like this rule, which honestly, it seems like such a no-brainer for us, to be like, if you've done the haunt before, just say, no, it didn't trigger.
Right.
Which makes perfect sense because it's like, because I know I've doubled up on haunts, I think at least 3 times.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch our actual playback for Betrayal at House on the Hill, we talk a lot about the kind of things we would want to see in an expansion, which we had a lot of ideas. And unfortunately, to my disappointment, this really doesn't. It really is a haunt pack, which is great. And I'm so happy that they actually are adding things to this
Especially,
game.
I know there's definitely certain people we know who actually wrote stories that we'd really want to get.
I'm excited to try like the Penny Arcade guys and people like that. But I really still wish they would put out a new expansion that I've actually changed some of the mechanics, added some rules, especially in that first half of the game, which was the thing we always said, where, that's the part that nothing happens in. Once you've done it so many times, it becomes a little by rote, at least for me. And they didn't touch that really at all, besides some new rooms. But even the new rooms and new cards, didn't go that far. They didn't put enough for my taste, and we also found a couple. Again, speaking of typos,
Oh, yeah.
there was a pretty bad one.
The Mythos Tales typos, I think, were not as bad. At least,
especially also Mythos Tales. You got to cut them some slack because they wrote a book. Like that's a lot harder to proofread. They added like
was it?
30 or 40 cards.
Pickpocket.
They spelled pickpocket without the C. Pickpocket.
As far as we know, that does have a C. There's no weird spelling.
Yeah, and it was like, come on, guys. Which it's a shame because a part of me feels like Wizards of the Coast / Avalon Hill did this because, people, I guess, really like this game, but they still don't have their heart in it the way they do. They're just still about Magic and D&D, and I think that maybe they, on their end, not even on the creative side, but I think maybe that's could be the thing. But if you do have Betrayal and you like it, I mean, it's probably a no-brainer even still, especially if you've played it a lot, you want those extra haunts. They're in there.
You know what would be interesting? I think a Betrayal legacy style game. Like, if you build a house, and depending on how you build it maybe or something, where happens in a scenario, may move a room or like a room gets removed or it starts or something.
Yeah. Something to, then you wouldn't have to do that first phase if you would just kind of carry over from the earlier part.
But I mean, we still love Betrayal. We're still excited to play it a lot more. Not as much as what we were hoping for, but still a fun buy.
Well, it definitely, this was our first impression, so, once we try 3 or 4 more scenarios out, we'll have a better sense of exactly how it works for us.